California Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Lou Montano. His presenter is Mr. Vaughn Hitchcock. Vaughn was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the class of 2000. Lou Montano was a three-sport athlete for Calexico High School: football, wrestling, and baseball. In 1978, Lou placed third in the CIF State Wrestling Championships. As league MVP at quarterback, Lou was offered several Division I football scholarships, but he declined football in favor of wrestling. Lou decided to attend Cal Poly in the fall of 1978 and wrestle for the legendary Mr. Vaughn Hitchcock. Lou became one of Cal Poly's greatest all-time wrestlers, compiling a 112 16-1 record. Lou was a three-time NCAA qualifier, two-time Western Regional champion, and twice Division I All-American. Lou set a school record in his senior year for most wins per season with a 41-2-1 record. He was runner-up at the Division I NCAA tournament. His only two losses were to three-time NCAA champion Jim Zaleski, who was one of Iowa's all-time greatest wrestlers and currently now the Oregon State head wrestling coach. After Lou's wrestling career, he began coaching as an assistant coach at Cal Poly from 1984 through 1986, and Cal State Bakersfield from 1986 through 1991. While as an assistant, Lou was nominated twice as a National Wrestling Coaches Association Assistant Coach of the Year. Lou developed many outstanding wrestlers. He coached 12 NCAA Division I All-Americans, 2 NCAA finalists, Darrell Pope, NCAA Division I runner-up in 1987, and Paul Keesaw, 1991 national champion at 190 pounds. In 1991, Lou Montano became the head wrestling coach at Columbia University, the oldest college wrestling program in the country. While at Columbia, his wrestling team was on the National Wrestling Coaches All-Academic Team 4 times. After 9 years as Columbia head coach, Lou resigned in 2000 to return to his beloved state, California. Once Lou returned, he still continued to help the sport of wrestling in many ways. One of those was an assistant director of the California High School State CIF Wrestling Championships held right here in Bakersfield, California at the Rabobank Arena. Furthermore, Lou helped direct the 2007 Pac-10 Wrestling Championships held at Cal State Bakersfield. Lou, my friend, we salute you. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the 2012 California Wrestling Hall of Fame, Mr. Lou Montano.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the the committee, Hall of Fame, and you guys are doing a great job here tonight. I'm really excited. I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank my mom. They just came from Calexico today. She's 88 years old, by the way. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I'd like to thank my friends from Cal Poly. I have friends from Oregon. They came down throughout the whole state of California. I also have one of my former wrestlers from Columbia University, Bruce Walker, all the way from New York City. Bruce, thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge, also from Columbia University, Mr. Andy and Avery Barf. Thank you very much for being here. I also would like to thank our HEP staff from CSUB, a program that I overlook at CSUB. I also like to thank the Coyote Club members. Thank you for all your support at all levels, and I really truly mean that, and you've done a great job. When I received the letter from Lynn Dyke, you know, it was really special. I saw Darrell and Paul Keesaw's name in there, and you know, these are two guys that I coached, and it was really special. Recruiting, and I know Mike and Brendan's here tonight. Recruiting is so important. We all know that. I'll never forget recruiting Paul Keesaw from Pennsylvania, coming to California. Iowa State was on him, pressing really hard, and we were right there. CSUB, we were recruiting him heavy. And I was talking to Coach Kerr, you know, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go down to LAX. I'm going to pick him up, and I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go down on Highway 101. We're going to go the long way. We're going to see the beach. So we came down. We're driving. We're by Ventura. Paul, there's the beach. You know, we talked a little wrestling. We hit up to Santa Barbara. There's the beach, you know. We came back to Bakersfield, okay? He had a great visit in Bakersfield. On the way back, did the same thing. We took our time, went down to Venice Beach, went down to Santa Monica. There's the beach. Anyway, he commits to Cal State Bakersfield, becomes an NCAA Division I national champion. On top of that, he meets his beautiful wife, Kim, from Bakersfield. I mean, that's a great, I think Bakersfield's done really well for Paul Keesaw. You know, in the sport of wrestling, you learn a lot of great qualities, and perseverance was a great quality that I really learned throughout my career in wrestling. And there's a couple stories, short stories that I want to relate to you. The first one was my junior year. I was at the NCAA championships, wrestling a guy from Oklahoma State, Ricky Stewart, two-time NCAA Division I national champion. He was going for his third title. Quarterfinal match. I'm beating him in overtime by 1 point. 1 point, I'm beating him. I'm 10, 9, 8, I'm going. I reach, he shoots around me. Shoots a beautiful duck under. Oklahoma State has a beautiful duck under shot. And close to out of bounds, 2-point takedown. I lose by 1 point. Within 2 hours, I had to remotivate myself to get back, because the next match, if you lose, you don't become an All-American. And that was my ultimate goal, perseverance. As a wrestler, you find a way. You find a way. If you get taken down, you got to learn how to get away, okay? You got to find a way to take the guy down. You got to find a way to win. And sure enough, within 2 hours, I found a way to get back in there and win the next match and become an All-American. And that quality has really carried throughout my life. First year at Columbia University, I'll never forget. We had about 11, 12 guys on the team, okay? And mid-January, it was a tough week. We had guys that were injured. Some guys were hurt. I mean, we had a hard time with some studies that week. And I show up for practice. There's only 4 guys. There's only 4 guys in the room. I'm walking back to my apartment, which was about 5 blocks away, okay? My beautiful wife, Sharon, up in the 18th floor. My son is a 1.5 years old, and I'm thinking, what did I do from Bakersfield to New York City? Perseverance, here we go. I learned. You learn from wrestling. That year, we were able to gain 10, 15 guys on the team. That following year, we beat University of Pennsylvania, which was a very respectable team, probably in the top 30 in the country. And sure enough, I tell you, it was a great moment. Very quick, I'd like to thank my high school coach, Ken Kroll. Thank you very much for all the support. TJ Kerr for the opportunity. Without you, I never would have had that opportunity to coach Columbia University. And finally, Coach Hitchcock, thank you so much for recruiting me. Great teacher, one of the best in the country right there. Coach Hitchcock, thank you very much.